Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, and a light unto my path.
Good morning again. Thank you for joining us as we continue reading and reflecting through the Psalms. This morning we're in Psalm 141. Before we read, I'd just like to ask you to consider those in your life who have complete consent, complete permission, and maybe even an expectation to hold you to account. Those who have your permission to even smack you if needed. Certainly that list of people is probably pretty short. Most of us, maybe a spouse, has that permission to keep us in line, to say the hard things, which when they say it, it may feel like they hit us, or maybe we do need to slap her around every once in a while. Again, maybe it's a spouse, a family member, maybe a shepherd or a pastor or the elder of your congregation. We're reading here in Psalm 141, David actually asked for that kind of man. So let's read Psalm 141. O Lord, I call upon you. Hasten to me. Give ear to my voice when I call to you. Let my prayer be counted as incense before you, and the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice. Set a guard, O Lord, over my lips. Keep watch over the door of my lips. Do not let my heart incline to any evil, to busy myself with wicked deeds and company with men who work iniquity, and let me not eat of their delicacies. Let a righteous man strike me. It is a kindness. Let him rebuke me. It is oil for my head. Let my head not refuse it. Yet my prayer is continually against their evil deeds. When their judges are thrown over the cliff, then they shall hear my words, for they are pleasant. As when one plows and breaks up the earth, so shall our bones be scattered at the mouth of Sheol. But my eyes are toward you, O God, my Lord. In you I seek refuge. Leave me not defenseless. Keep me from the trap that they have laid for me, and from the snares of evildoers. Let the wicked fall into their own nets, while I pass by safely. In Samuel 12, we may be familiar with that. We read of David, and he's just gone through all of this mess with Bathsheba and trying to cover up that sin with ultimately murdering Uriah. And he still hasn't come clean to God. And Nathan confronts him, and he strikes him, so to speak. He rebukes him, but of course he does it in a way, uses a certain tactic of getting a point across that David would appreciate and understand, but it probably did feel like being struck when Nathan said, "You are the man." And so I love what David says here as he says, "Let a righteous man strike me. It is a kindness." Wasn't it indeed a kindness when Nathan rebuked him? He says, "Let him rebuke me. It is oil for my head." Wasn't it indeed a kindness that was done to him? So David is actually asking for this. And of course, again, he's not using literal language that someone would slap him across the face, but this is poetic language that's describing his desire to do right by God and having the blessing of those who will help keep him on the right course. So you and I have surely been there plenty of times ourselves. Someone, whether we've given them permission or not, they put us in our place. And we feel like we've been struck, but we see the value of that later on, or hopefully even immediately we see the value of that. It's not a pleasant feeling, but we know that those are the ones that are truly acting from a place of love. David even describes it like having oil poured on our head, and we've seen this many times in the Psalms. Of course, it's something we may not understand, but this thing that is so unpleasant, having someone rebuke us, he's describing as something that is indeed very pleasant in the days of David in that culture. So we should see the value of that as well. Again, I ask you, who in your life has that permission? Have you given anyone that permission? And does anyone have that expectation of them that they should keep you in line if you start to step outside of what it is that we should be doing. We need those in our lives. We need those individuals in our lives to help correct us when necessary, and to help us see the error of our way if we're outside of God's will. And this is in line with passages in the Bible in the New Testament, like James 5, where we're told to confess our sins to one another, to pray for one another. Like in Matthew 18, where if we see one in sin, that we're to go and seek to correct them. We need to be people who allow others to correct us, to strike us if needed, to put us in our place. And we need to consider it a kindness when it is done to us. We need to be people that seek that out and have relationships with one another where we know that that is expected. We also need to be that righteous person that's willing to be the one who strikes or rebukes someone out of love. And that may be even harder. So just some things to think about here. A great psalm. So just consider, who is your righteous man in your life? If you don't have one, maybe find one. But we appreciate your time this morning in this short reading that we have. Hope you gained something from it. Go have a great day.